We've got a lot to cover, so let's just get started. Beginning with breaking 60 seconds of video missing from 10-hour Epstein surveillance footage released by the FBI. But perhaps maybe the most important part here is the post says pay close attention to the 11:59 mark. What do you notice? What do you see here at 11:59? Chapter for fast, free help and savings opportunities. And just like Scrappy, who left this comment that says, "Thank you, Kevin. Since my husband qualifies for Medicare now, and I will be in a few years, we're going to be contacting Chapter before open enrollment and see what happens. Appreciate your videos and the information that y'all share, as well as Michelle. And we appreciate you. Thank you, Scrappy." But folks, isn't that just awesome? Scrappy's already seeing the value, much like so many others, and you can too. Listen, if you're thinking about Medicare or just want to explore your options or know anyone else who is 65 years old or older or approaching that age, don't sleep on this, folks, okay? Listen to me. Call Chapter now. The number's right here on the screen, 270-467-2426. 270-467-2426. Seriously, don't wait. Don't delay. Do it today before open enrollment sneaks up on you. And folks just like you are saving thousands on average. Yeah, thousands. And that could be you too, right? So grab your phone, dial 270-467-2426, and tell them Kevin sent you. I'm sure that you'll be glad you did. There's no audio, I don't think. Scrolling up, no particular order here. We're just kind of going through the feed together. Proud Elephant asks, will you be leaving MAGA and joining Elon Musk's America Party? Yes or no? Feel free to chime in. I'd love to know your thoughts. Fox News shares this one. It says, out with the gringos. Hundreds stormed the streets of Mexico City to protest mass tourism, looting businesses during the unrest. And folks, this isn't here in the U.S. This is Mexico City. So now I got to wonder, has this type of behavior made its way south of the border, or has George Soros's NGO money made its way down there instead? I can tell you guys right now, I don't know if I would necessarily fall into the category of gringo, but I'm not going to test fate. So I won't be traveling south of the border to the Mexican Riviera anytime soon for all-inclusive resorts and all-you-can-drink margaritas. Granted, tomorrow is Taco Tuesday, so I may find myself over at Cantina Laredo or Poblanos or Pepitos. Eric Doherty shares this one from Charlie Kirk. It says, breaking, Charlie Kirk just revealed forces in D.C. are pushing Trump for mass amnesty. And I quote, there's a movement afoot. People are pushing President Trump for amnesty. They're pushing him for the mass legalization of illegals. I hope this fails.
President Donald Trump signed the big, beautiful bill on Independence Day on July 4th, signaling a massive legislative accomplishment. Tax cut, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, huge investment in border security, $175 billion for ICE. We're going to talk more about the profundity and the importance of this bill, but it is of great urgent necessity that we cover what is coming next. And yes, we are going to talk about Epstein. We're also going to have live coverage from the awful and the unspeakable tragedy happening in Kerr County and near Hunt, Texas. Just a national tragedy with the flooding issue in Texas. But you would think that, hey, we get $175 billion for ICE. We're going to get mass deportations. We're going to be able to have now the largest deportation effort ever. Yes, in theory. But in practice, there's something else afoot. Literally, the day before President Donald Trump was signing the big, beautiful bill, I got a couple phone calls from people that you would call members of the ruling class, a lot of money and a lot of connections. They said, Charlie, isn't this amazing? We passed the big, beautiful bill. I said, oh, yes, sir. And they said, now we need mass amnesty. What? I said, we haven't even signed the bill yet. They said, yeah, you know, these deportations, we're going to lose the midterms because of the deportations. The people on the right, they'll understand. And we need to come to the middle, and we need to legalize the 25 million people here in this country. I was speechless. Because here I am actually thinking, a little naive, we're going to sign this big, beautiful bill, and we're actually going to get mass deportations uninterrupted from an asymmetrical attack. So we have somewhere between 20 to 50 million illegal aliens in this country. We don't actually know the numbers. These are all guesstimates. These are all just approximations. And there is a movement afoot as I am doing this broadcast. And this is bigger than anything with Epstein. This is bigger than anything with tax cuts. It is happening right now in Washington, D.C. And I can say this from firsthand experience, that people are pushing President Trump for amnesty. They are pushing him for mass legalization of illegals. Now, President Donald Trump, of course, would never push for amnesty. But President Donald Trump said something at a rally on July 3rd, and my phone lit up like you wouldn't imagine. President Donald Trump was talking about potentially doing a bipartisan compromise deal for illegals that have stolen Social Security numbers, that are illegally domiciling themselves here in the country, that are all felons. Every single one of them are felons. They're just not yet indicted felons. But if they're here illegally, you're a felon. It's against federal law. We've gone through all the different federal laws that you break by being here. And this is President Donald Trump speaking at the Iowa rally saying that we might need to do some form, he didn't use the word amnesty, but some form of soft amnesty. And I could tell you now through other reporting that I've been able to do and phone calls, there is a major push right now to do a bipartisan amnesty deal, a major push. People are trying to push the president. Hey, you got the money for ICE. Now we need to go move to the middle on immigration. Play cut 258.
People have worked for a farm on a farm for 14, 15 years, and they get thrown out pretty viciously, and we can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart, and we're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible. And I think that that's going to make a lot of people happy.
Wild and crazy stuff here, folks. Dan Bongino, let it go, is what this one reads. What a shame and sick, twisted turn of events for everyone here.
Huge story. Again, not a lot of people are talking about. There is a little current of information I'm getting that the Department of Justice under PAM BONDI may be finally releasing a lot of information on this Jeffrey Epstein case, which is a huge deal. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm hoping it does. I've been covering it for a long time. The Jeffrey Epstein case, you do not know all the details of this thing, I promise. There are a lot of really obviously powerful people. This part you know, but the specific names we may not, including, I believe, the Clintons, based on information I discussed yesterday, who are knee-deep in involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and no one can figure out what the level of entanglement is. Jeffrey Epstein met with Obama's fixer, his lawyer, Catherine Rumler, who was always the one in the middle of these Obama scandals, and we can't figure out why, what they're hiding. Here's Marsha Blackburn, who has been all over this. She's a senator from Tennessee, Republican, obviously. And she's like, hey, man, is it time now? It's time to start overturning that rock and seeing what's underneath it. Check this out.
I've repeatedly requested a subpoena for the complete unredacted Epstein flight logs from the FBI. I've also pushed for the release of Ghislaine Maxwell's unredacted little black book of contacts and addresses. The American people have the right to know who flew on his planes, who witnessed the crimes, and who potentially participated in his global sex trafficking ring. Yet time and again, in the last Congress, Democrat leadership and then FBI Director Wray stonewalled my request. But now, with Republican control of Congress and President Trump back in the Oval Office, we're going to see some real change on this issue. Just last week, the president's excellent pick for FBI Director Kash Patel vowed to work with me in releasing the Epstein records and breaking apart the trafficking rings that harm countless women and children across our country. To be clear, this is not a celebrity issue. This is about ending modern-day slavery and finding out who is participating in these sex trafficking rings.
Did you hear the key part of that? The Ghislaine Maxwell Black Book. What names are in there, man? You understand how many powerful people probably want this thing to desperately go away? How many people were interconnected with this Epstein sex ring operation? I heard from a reporter once that there are tapes. A very well-respected reporter, many of you know, that there are a lot of tapes out there of a lot of people. I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I talked about it yesterday. You can go check it out. I'm not letting it go ever. Ever.
I will say that Bonino is definitely feeling some heat right now, considering the situation he's been put in, some recent changes that we've all noticed happening to him since becoming the deputy director for the FBI and leaving his podcast. What does FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino now do on a daily basis after no longer running his wildly popular podcast and reporting directly to Kash Patel under the Trump administration?
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
Does he regret this decision, this choice that he's made? And better yet, knowing what he knows now, if he had to make the choice again, would he still do it? Would he accept the call? Or would he stay comfortably where he was, hosting a podcast and still married to his wife? Or, I'm sorry, not separated. For which Michelle and I are actually going to talk about that on the other channel. So we've got another channel. I don't know if you guys know about it, but we're going to talk about that on the other channel because there are some motivators, okay? And some of these motivational tools can cause people to make changes to their platform, to their message, to themselves, to their thought process. And Dan Bongino walking away from his podcast. And the strange turn of events, I think, is going to tie into the conversation seamlessly. And speaking of conversations, we see Hakeem Jeffries here. And it says, The Blaze says, does not rule out defunding ICE ahead of 2026 midterms. And he says, it's not what the American people voted for. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to go after violent felons, but instead they're going after law-abiding immigrant families. America is better than this. This is what he says on a recent appearance on your favorite show, The View.
Jeffries, you wear many hats, and one of your jobs is to try to win back the House for Democrats. And we were talking about immigration before we went to break. Now, some Democrats, amid the criticisms of ICE right now due to these ICE raids, have started calling for defunding ICE. Do you think that's effective going into the midterms, and do you support those calls?
Well, I definitely think that, we need aggressive oversight as it relates to the overly aggressive behavior that we've seen, from ICE, from the Department of Homeland Security. It's not what the American people actually, in my view, voted for. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to go after violent felons. But instead, they're going after law-abiding immigrant families. And in fact, in some cases, deporting American citizens and children, some with cancer. And America is better than this. And that's the reality. In terms of what House Democrats stand for, we believe that in this country, you work hard and you play by the rules, you should be able to experience the American dream. You should be able to afford to live the good life. And we believe that that's a good paying job, good health care, good housing, good education for your children, and a good retirement. And a good retirement, by the way, means keep your hands off of Social Security and Medicare now and at all times. That's the good life.
I also want to ask you, because I could argue...
And we're going to talk more about Hakeem Jeffries here, Dollar Store Obama, and these violent illegals. So bear with me here, folks. Stick with me because I said in no particular order here. J.D. Vance, Clayton Moore says 30 days ago, Vice President J.D. Vance said this, quote, seriously, we need to release the Epstein Files. What changed?
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list.
So what changed? What changed? Besides Elon Musk changing his party affiliation and who he wanted, what horse he wanted to back. Justin, Kevin O'Leary says Trump and Elon need to bury the hatchet and he's ready to broker the peace deal himself. Quote, this is bad for America. And the Vigilant Fox asks, could Mr. Wonderful be the one to reunite the most powerful duo in modern politics?
Well, here's what I think about this idea. Bad idea. Here's what has to happen. Trump and Elon have to get back together again. Frankly, I'm thinking of calling both up myself and saying this is stupid. Yeah. It's stupid for everybody. This is bad for America. We need the number one industrialist, the most advanced in technology worldwide, working with the most powerful man on earth. It doesn't matter about politics anymore. It matters that these two are working together. These are giant egos, and it's not good for America. It's just bad. We don't need a third party. Ross Perot tried that. Bad idea. It's all bad. These two guys have to get together. I'm not the only person that feels this way in his inner circle, where everybody knows this is bad. Here's what.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard to understand how bad this is, but, you're talking about two giant egos, but I think the difference here is that President Trump has a force behind him, always has, okay? Elon's got a lot of money behind him for now. He could lose that in the blink of an eye. But I don't think President Trump, Donald Trump, MAGA, you can lose that. I don't think you can lose that. And Elon can lose what he has. Who would Elon be without the money? Who would he be? What could he accomplish? What could he do? And, it's not necessarily about politics anymore, but he's definitely showing, a side of him that odds are most leftists, Democrats, liberals aren't going to pay attention to it. But anyone that I would think that Elon would want to gain the attention of, for instance, like myself, you guys, anyone who agrees with us and, has similar values and principles, we're not going to give Elon Musk the time of day. I'm going to use X while I can use it. I'm going to use YouTube while I'm not going to cut off my nose here, folks. We're printing money here, but at the end of the day, if Elon kicks me off of X or X goes away, we'll move on to something else. But I'm sticking with Trump no matter what. Unless President Trump gives me some reason to absolutely change my mind in my position and everything that, the reasons why I voted for him, reasons why I shared and continue to share this information with everybody, and the reason why I would tell anyone to vote for him. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. And it's not just me. Mr. Wonderful here, he speaks very highly of President Trump. And we're going to close out with another resounding message, I think, and stellar review of the president from someone who's probably even closer to him than Mr. O'Leary here. DeVore says breaking. I told you we're going to get to this. A 27-year-old man in tactical gear and wielding a rifle opened fire on federal agents at the southern border in McAllen, Texas, or McAllen, Texas this morning. The individual was subsequently killed by officers and has been identified as Ryan Lewis. And this news comes as DHS reports violence against ICE agents has increased over 700%. Now, because of YouTube, some of this I won't be able to show you. I'll have to block it out because of violence. And then the violence affects my monetization and the amount of money I can make on these videos. And
we got multiple teams working this story as we learn more about this breaking news. But apparently a man showed up to this facility this morning with tactical gear and a rifle, opening fire on those agents at the front. Fire was returned. Dozens of shots was fired, and we have confirmed that man was killed in this. He's identified as Ryan Lewis, 27 years old. But as we show you these images, obviously very concerning. This man with a rifle and that tactical gear showing up. You can see the image of him down right there. Multiple shots fired. We have a confirmed statement that this morning an individual opened fire at the entrance of the United States border sector annex in McAllen, Texas. That was according to the Department of Homeland Security spokesman. We do know this is an ongoing investigation. One of the officers involved in this was shot in the knee, so that officer will need medical attention, but we're told will be in stable condition and okay. But right now, a very concerning situation with this man, Ryan Lewis, 27, apparently with a Michigan address, several other weapons and backpacks and gear inside his car, showing up and opening fire this morning. No news yet, Wolf, of whether or not there was any sort of manifesto or any kind of message left behind, but this shooting did happen in the last few hours.
Alex Ramosi says sometimes the best reason to do something is just to be able to say you did it. And I don't know. I feel like that applies like right now, like whether it's Elon, whether it's Trump, or maybe more so importantly, whether it's Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Epstein Files. Sometimes it's the best reason to do something is just to be able to say you did it. See if that message makes its way over to the DOJ. And speaking of, let's see, we got some messages here from you guys. If I can get my bearings here. Here it is, comments. These are the comments that are actually published and not blocked or deleted or anything like that. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, some of the comments YouTube flags, because of certain language and things like that, and others are just way off base. And I think you should really listen to and pay very close attention to Sarah Kapustik. Thank you so much, Sarah, for always being there, and heed the warnings, and take her advice. But there's that. And so this video from this morning, and let's see here, this video from this morning's got 256 comments. So we're not going to be able to go through all of those on this. But a lot of folks here have chimed in on Bondi Deep State. And I don't like Pam Bondi. Trump needs to fire her. She has no balls. I did see a comment in here that said that Pam Bondi needed some BBC. And I would say okay, well, if so, it's a good thing she doesn't have balls because we don't get down like that. Pam just looks like she's a liar. No justice here in America. Pam Bondi's a joke. For years they baited us with that list, and now poof, it doesn't exist. And you guys feel free, check out all the comments on that video. And I would imagine maybe this may stir up some comments here on this video. Fox News says, and I quote, "I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this." And it says, former Houston City Board official Sadie Perkins, appointed by a Democrat, sparks outrage over race-fueled comments about Camp Mystic, which she called a whites-only conservative Christian camp. And the viral comments come after multiple children who attended the camp died or remained missing following the catastrophic Texas floods.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls' Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all-white, white-only conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, it's an argument that can never really be debated or proven because, now now, considering. And if you have these thoughts and feelings and opinions, then why not try to see if they are true and apply to send your child to one of these all white Christian camps. I hate that everything has to revert back to just pure racism every single time. I was actually trying to find this post that I saw earlier. I probably should have saved it. And it said, this was my greatest fear. And this lady's doing an ice bucket or an ice bath or something. That's a big old tub of ice. I don't think I'd ever do that. That's crazy. But, oh man, I don't know if I can find it now. I thought it was in my feed here, but I think that's AI because I've never seen Trump in an orange jumpsuit like that. But Dr. Oz, Wizard of Oz. It's funny how this algorithm works here. Speaking of racism, Love Island USA star Sierra Ortega abruptly exits show after racist posts resurface as her family speaks out. Let's see, it's Cash. We got an ice raid here. We're going to get back into that, Ted Cruz, but let me see if I can find it. Or maybe it wasn't Greatest Fear. Maybe they said worst nightmare. Let's see here. Oh, wait. Maybe I can do it like this. Oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to find it, but it was this interesting setup in the backyard, and there was a fire pit and people singing and dancing around it. But there was something specific. Definitely, as you know, we have these conversations here about this, that always tend to go the direction of racism. And there was a part of it where if you just paid attention, just watched it, and just notice it, kind of like this, watch till the end, one of those situations. But if you just really, and then the comment section was hilarious because the people in the comments were calling it out. But you really have to see it. You have to watch it. If I find it, I'll save it and then I'll do another video, or maybe I'll put it up in the community. So you guys, if y'all are not a part of the community, you should go ahead and join, sign up. It's free. And that's where you're going to get extras and special invites and so much value. Besides what we share here on YouTube, we got so much more. And I guess maybe I reset my feed because I thought it was in here. I really wanted y'all to see it. I just reset the feed to see if I could see if it shows itself. See if we get lucky here. This one's funny. It says if you were born in the year 2099, how old would you be in the year 3000? And I think that obviously there's one answer that most people would give, but then there's another that could technically be mathematically correct, but then there's probably one more that's far more accurate. This is I guess this isn't so much doom scrolling or just brain rot, but scrolling the X feed really really gets you thinking about some things, questioning some of your life choices. And I sorry guys, if y'all are just listening and not watching, this might be one you want to watch. I know we try to go podcast style, but this may be one you want to at least put your eyes on briefly. But we're going to go back because we got a few more of these bookmarks I want to run through. And so this one here says, Libs of TikTok says, TikToker says the young girls died in the Texas flood because of racism and because illegals are being deported. I'm not sure how there's logic and justification, but like I said, freedom of speech, and people are taking to social media and YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and all those different things. And this is what you get, folks.
I'm going to say it because y'all scary as fuck and I don't give a damn. Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck. And am I sad? No. Nope. Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the fuck you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay with that. Be okay with not finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again. Keep that same energy because I'm here for it. I am so here for it. Because I've been reading the comments and the shit y'all be saying. Y'all didn't give a fuck when it was brown people. We sorry that it's white people now, but that's going to happen. This is going to be a repetitive cycle going to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until y'all get tired. Racism cost y'all more than y'all thought. Racism wrote that line? Racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. Yeah, racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. And guess who's paying for it? Okay.
Now, this one here is definitely going to be one that I can't show you because of the violence, but it says, just in, person stabbed after two cut the line for Pokemon cards outside of GameStop in Colma, California. Colma Police Department Sergeant Daniel Mendoza said, while two were fighting, one of the other individuals in the group of two hit them in the back of the head with a glass mason jar and used broken glass to begin to stab them. Two people were arrested. And I don't know if you guys can notice, like, if you pick up on anything, if you see like a trend here or anything. And this kind of goes back to, what we were talking about and discussing with Hakeem Jeffries here, saying that this isn't what people voted for. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to go after violent felons. Well, I guess there are some instances and situations where they're not felons yet, but odds are they may very well be here soon. This one here, again, no particular order. Former mobster who was once in the same jail as Jeffrey Epstein claims there's no way Epstein could have unalived himself, calling it physically impossible. And he says that the cell had nothing on the ceiling to hang from, and even basic tasks like using the bathroom were done under constant surveillance. And quote, unless he was a magician, he said, there's no way he pulled that off. Epstein Files. I mean, it's like we want the logs, we want the client list.
Sure. Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was
What?
saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice. Okay.
And the flight logs, but that's a whole nother can of wax right there as far as the inside the jail cell, prison walls. Breaking, federal agencies paid a private cloud seeding company to spray Texas skies just 2 days before deadly floods killed 60 plus. No public comment, no oversight, no accountability. Call it weather modification, call it a conspiracy, but it's happening. And this one here says Piers Morgan's interview with Alina Habba about the Jeffrey Epstein files did not age well.
The Jeffrey Epstein files, we're told, are to be imminently unleashed. And already we saw the Attorney General, PAM BONDI, say that it's the scale of what happened is far worse than anyone realized. Well over 200, maybe 250 victims, and that we're going to get information either later today or tomorrow from these files.
I believe it will be today. I was just with, I saw Pam and Cash in the White House just before coming on your show. And I can tell you that I haven't been privy to it yet, but I know it is coming out. They will be taking portions of it. We have to be patient. I think America needs to remember one thing. We are going to be promises made, promises kept. We have flight logs. We have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. Again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
Yeah, guys, these are just some of them, like I kind of try to keep them in order, but then the other ones aren't in order. But I feel like I really wanted to save them and share them with you guys in this video. So again, sorry if they're out of order, but call to activism, breaking update. Officials just confirmed 75 people are dead in Kerr County, including 27 children, 10 campers, and a counselor are still missing. And and it says, and what's Ted Cruz doing there? Pretending his party didn't gut disaster prep and climate response? It says shame. I had another one here. Oh, here it is. This one here says, host, you stood next to Trump as he talked about dismantling FEMA. Does this tragic situation in Texas underscore that need for you? And then Secretary Noem has her response. I'll play that for you guys.
Madam Secretary, you stood next to the president as he talked about dismantling FEMA in favor of greater autonomy and targeted resources under the control of state and local officials. Does this tragic situation underscore that need for you, or does that change that dynamic of what would work best moving forward?
I think what we've seen here is exactly what President Trump has envisioned for FEMA, is immediately allowing the state to do the response and supporting them in every way that they can. So this response was driven by Governor Abbott and his emergency management director and the local officials that were on the ground. And we were immediately there to fill in the gaps where they needed and to give them their disaster declaration as soon as possible, which happened almost immediately as soon as the governor asked. That's the FEMA and how it should operate.
And so I would say that this is definitely drag Trump day, drag MAGA day, drag GOP, drag Republicans day. But I also feel like it's because we're on X and Elon is in control, and no matter what he wants to say, he may do opposite of what he said. Elon's response to Trump here, and he says, I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or sorry that happened. And basically, this is just a petty response that Elon would give to what Trump wrote, because Elon is a child and Elon is butthurt and Elon's ego is bruised, and Elon's going to take his toys and leave, and he's going to try to create this America party, which is a disaster. Okay. And Steve Bannon says we have millions of our best engineers and hardest workers who can't get good jobs. Meanwhile, the elites import foreign labor and subsidize it with your taxes. Keep this up and you'll lose the country. And he's right. He's right.
I want to talk to you, Kevin, about another number that I know you and the president disagree with, but that Democrats and many Republicans are worried about, and that's the CBO's projection that as many as 12 million Americans could lose Medicaid coverage because of this law. What is the NEC's estimate for how many people could lose coverage?
Well, yeah, let's unbundle that a little bit, because first on the CBO coverage, so what are we doing? So what we're doing is we're asking for a work requirement. But the work requirement is that you need to be looking for work or even doing volunteer work, and you don't need to do it until your kids are 14 or older. And so the idea that that's going to cause a massive hemorrhaging in availability of insurance doesn't make a lot of sense to us. And then if you look at the CBO numbers, if you look at the big numbers, they say that people are going to lose insurance. About 5 million of those are people who have other insurance. They're people who have two types of insurance, and so therefore if they lose one, they're still insured. And so the CBO numbers on that side don't make any sense to us at all. But on the other side, go back to 2017 when we had work requirements for Obamacare, and they said that we'd lose about 4 million insured between 2017 and 2019, and about double that over the next 10 years. And in fact, the number of insured went up quite a bit, by more than 10 million over those 2 years, because the bottom line is the best way to get insurance is to get a job. And we've got a big, beautiful bill that's going to create a lot of job creation and a lot of insurance, and the CBO is just not accounting for that. Well, and again, they need to go back and look at all the things that they got wrong. You realize that they're underestimating Medicaid spending by 20%. They should look back at all the things they got wrong and explain what they're going to do to get it right in the future and to do a better job. And if they do that, we'll take them more seriously. But right now, I don't think any serious thinker could take them seriously, because they've been so wrong for so long. Even back, if you go back to when President Obama passed Obamacare, they got every single number there wrong about how many people would get private insurance and how few people would get Medicaid and so on. And so their record in this modeling space is about as bad as it's possible to be. In fact, you could kind of roll the roulette wheel and come up with a better set of numbers, a better track record history than CBO.
This one here says, my constituents are calling my office scared. They don't even know if they'll be able to survive these Republican Medicaid cuts. It's heartbreaking and cruel. This one here actually kind of goes back to the Texas floods and says, one of the left's top streamers says maybe the kids weren't fit for camping near a river if they couldn't swim, ? But Steve Bannon is right. And much like Kevin O'Leary is right. And, we should be focusing on keeping this country, making this country great again, and prosperity. But here, I'll play this for you.
These are the people who go to the engineering. They take the hardest majors and grind it out. And they've done everything they're supposed to since they're like in kindergarten. You have 12 million of the best that we got, the hardest working with the most grit, that don't have a job. And we're bringing in foreigners and you're subsidizing your taxes? To hell with that. We're not going to do it, Elmo. Not going to do it. The country, no. We're not going to have a country. You're not going to have a country when the best are told you do everything you're supposed to at the top and the hardest, and you've sacrificed all that time to focus on this, and then you can't get a job or you can't get a good paying job. Screw you. This is the way you're going to lose the country. This is the way you're going to lose the country. You understand why that guy's got some traction up in New York City? This is the reason. And you either do it the way that we're going to change it around and make for U.S. citizens. I'm telling you, you're going to look into the abyss.
I'll play the Steve Bannon clip for you. But, the problem is we've got folks at the top, in theory, fighting. I don't think Trump's fighting, but Elon's definitely fighting. He's being a little brat. And then we've got folks at the bottom. I got to scroll, ironically. At the bottom, loving every minute of it, but could potentially hate life here soon if they're cut off from Medicaid or food stamps or any of that other stuff. This says, come spend $400 worth of groceries with me at Walmart. And I can only imagine what this video is going to say, but we're here for it, aren't we?
Come grocery shop with us. Which ones do y'all be eating? Make it go by faster. Just put this. Oh, and y'all, by the way, I'm shopping for Tiffany plate because I'm about to eat that too. This ain't for Tiffany, this for tacos. This is for Tiffany.
Got to check on, make sure it's straight. Hold on.
That one look dirty, but let's get it. No, get it. Shoot. We always need milk. Oh, excuse me. I was gonna get some biscuits, but I got biscuits that I ain't cooked in the refrigerator from a month ago. Let me get some of this. This butter. Do y'all use this? Is butter. This what I use. This butter. Yeah, I found it. Chicken apple sausage. Yeah. I love Bob Evans, but they don't have no what's it called? Okay, guys, now that I got everything that was on that side of the store that I needed. Oh my gosh, look. I talked about them not having a family size, and I found it. One of you. And, oh yeah, I don't do the mashed potatoes. My stinky. I'm on a diet, y'all. And for my stinky. Oh no. This what I pick, and this what he pick.
And she's not the only one. I had another one. Oh man, this one's crazy. This one's wild. This one says real estate agent in Texas shows brand new homes to people who have Section 8 vouchers. And since Section 8 is income based, they're able to rent out these new homes out of large amounts of money, but taxpayers pay the vast majority of the rent. And it's crazy because there's no way, I don't think I would want to be a Section 8 landlord. especially not on a property that nice. And there's another one of those food stamp videos. I'll show you that one. I'll show you that one in a second. But I came across one, and it was a post, and this guy was showing the property he had. And maybe it's on TikTok. Maybe that's where I saved it. But basically, the windows were covered in flies. And basically, he was pointing out how the tenant essentially unalived themselves. And it was his property, but he had to go clean it out. And that's like the telltale sign that there's something afoot inside the property when there's that many flies. You see what I'm saying? This one says Logan Haskett. This one is actually a few years ago, but he goes, "Are you broke and single? Become an insurance adjuster. State Farm will hire anyone with a pulse. My friend nets $6K a week, easy entry, high pay, go on deployment when you want to." And, you know, it's ironic because I don't think that that's the case anymore. And I don't even know if State Farm is still in Texas. And most of these folks ain't going to have flood insurance, and it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be an absolute disaster.
Well, it's the 17th again. That's food stamp day for me. I placed my food delivery order last night, so it got here today at 11 o'clock. This time I got 90 items for $492. I made a video like this last time. All y'all was worried about was if I had stairs and if I tipped. Second of all, I did not tip. That's what y'all want me to say. That's what I'm going to say. Like, use y'all common sense when y'all be saying stuff in the comment. I don't give a fuck about y'all paying the taxes on these food stamps for me to be able to get them. I don't give a damn. And y'all be like, as long as the kids eat, exactly. So I'm feeding these kids with them food stamps that y'all using to spend y'all taxes or whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. I said most of y'all was mad in my last post. That's exactly what the fuck y'all be. Y'all be mad as hell. Anyways, y'all, this is my first order. I gotta make another order, but I'm gonna make it within a couple weeks because my freezer is going to be full. One thing I need to invest in is a deep freezer because then I will have so much freaking room. But I feel like if I was to have all that food up in here, I would just want to make food just because. If you know, you know. Y'all know when kids see shit, they all of a sudden want to eat everything. At least my kids be doing that shit. As soon as I brought the food in, here he go. Can he have some? I did start off with the fruits and vegetables, so y'all ass can't have shit to say. I don't think half of y'all watched both parts in the other video, or else y'all wouldn't have shit to say. And I hate when people bring me lettuce like this. I'm finna throw this shit in the trash, because they definitely could have kept that shit. But this is everything that I mostly got, y'all. This is only the first order. Y'all know that I be having to get 2 to 3 orders at a time. But yes, I got my meat, I got my snacks, I got my drinks, I got all of that shit. Some of y'all ass need to stop saying kids don't need all of them snacks and shit. Who the fuck said it was for them? Let me know what y'all eating tonight, because today I don't even know what the fuck I want to eat. But I know I could eat a whole house. Anyways, you guys, see y'all in part 2 or see y'all in my next video. Let me go put up all this damn food.
Well, let me know what you guys think about that one. 25-year-old single mother of 4 on food stamps. And, you know, it's almost like, granted, it's the era of social media, content engagement bait, clickbait, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you could walk through a grocery store and fill up a cart with a bunch of junk and just put on the screen or title it like food stamps or something, and then go back and put everything back on the shelf. Who would ever know? Who would ever know? And, you know, like I said, Michelle and I were going to talk about this more on the other channel, on our second channel later today. And it's about the era of content, YouTube, content creation, monetization, and changes coming to the YouTube platform. So stick around, stick with me here, folks. And as promised, here's that final clip. This is where I leave you, folks. 13 seconds. Pay very close attention to not only what Scott Bessent has to say here on CNN talking to Dana Bash, but also the caption, the description here written by Republicans against Trump. Let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to read your comments. If you liked the video, let me know and subscribe. And stay locked in. Stick with me here, folks, and don't miss a thing. Be sure to check out the links down below, and at the bottom of the description, there's an opt-in for my free money-saving community, and you're more than welcome to join if you'd like and get the latest updates and an invitation to exclusive events, including my free mastermind. Free. The Stay Free community is 100% free to join and discover money-saving tips, passive income ideas, easy investing, how-tos, and more. We look forward to seeing you guys over there. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, let me know and subscribe.
again, the president is probably the most economically sophisticated president we've had in 100 years, maybe ever. He has a view on rates, and he makes them known, just like Senator Warren makes hers known.